Okay, so it's that time of the academic year, and your teacher has told you that you need to present an oral. Prepared speeches. They make us nervous, but really, it's not that difficult. Stick around, and I'll tell you what you need to know, what you need to do. The moment you hear about having to present a speech, you may feel that the people will laugh at you. Fear of classmates sniggering and mocking, and make you just get nervous. You won't speak properly. You might feel embarrassed. What if I get stage fright? You might just want to crawl back into your shell. Don't worry, I've got good news. Everyone can do it. You can get better. In fact, the more you do it, the better you get. So practice helps. So why should you bother learning to give a speech? Firstly, being able to deliver a speech is an important part of academic success, especially in postgraduate studies. Masters and PhD students need to deliver their findings. Also, speaking is an important life skill. Communication is key in every sphere of life. Be able to talk to individuals and in front of people to groups. Share your view. Convince them. You might end up in a sales position, whether it's retail, wholesale, insurance, a policy broker, or financial consultant. Hey, even doctors present cases to peers. They also need to communicate with patients. Business leaders need to be able to engage with their staff and convince the public to invest in their product. So let's look at the first steps. Number one, select a topic. You need to be able to pick something that you can present well. What will be the main idea or the key message of your speech? Also, you will need to think about who is in your audience and pitch your speech at the right level. Don't dive into a deeply philosophical topic to practically minded people. Maybe you should avoid politics if the audience is particularly sensitive to the political challenges in your country. We are talking about school speeches after all. The next step is to plan and do your research. That's right, research. You need to know what you are talking about. Read up on the topic. Do not rely on your own knowledge. Your teacher might give you a variety of topics to choose from. It's unlikely that you are an expert on any. Your view on the topic might be limited. So find articles and become knowledgeable about it. Read books, magazines, relevant internet sites. YouTube videos are also quite effective. One or two of your school textbooks might even provide some useful information. You need to accept that there are people out there who know more than you, and their research and experience is valuable to your speech. Decide on what is important, what is relevant to your speech. Now, this is important. Think about the main point that you are trying to make. Oftentimes, learners just tell a story, but it hasn't got a point. A biographical oral about a famous businessman might reveal how he got rich and how he owns half the world. So what, I say? Should your audience try to emulate him? Is he a good example of a boss? Is he an example of how capitalism is ruining the world or helping the world? It's your speech, and you need to convince the audience of your point of view. Now you need to start writing out your speech. Writing out is important. Put all your ideas on paper, or type it on a computer, that's also fine. Then review and be self-critical. You need to see how you can improve whatever information you have provided. You need to think of your oral as having three parts: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. In order to have a successful presentation, you have to have a memorable introduction and a good conclusion, and you need to keep them close together. So we're talking about shorter, powerful speeches, maybe between 3 and 5 minutes depending on your grade. The opening and the closing of your speech are like two bookends. They are there to hold up your ideas. Those need to be strong. Good introductions are important. The first words, sentences, are so crucial. Avoid using the cliche, "Good morning, my name is Tony, and today I'm going to talk to you about..." Whoa! No, hold on. We already know who you are. You've been introduced, and your audience probably has a good idea which topic you have chosen. Rather answer why you are talking about the topic. Why should the audience listen? There must be some sort of excitement in your tone, otherwise you will lose your audience before you even start. You can be serious, or you can be funny. Either way, you must be effective. A good introduction gets your audience thinking about what message you are trying to give to them. There are various techniques. My favorite is the narrative. Can you guess the topic dealt with in the speech that begins with this introduction? The sirens wail in the distance. They draw closer. His heart pumps with fear. There will be any moment, he thinks. How could his life have taken such a cruel turn? Was he always destined for this? His father was right. You'll never escape this, he said. The cycle of violence continues. The cops will get him soon. He has blood on his hands. Can you guess? This is a good introduction that will deal with the issue of the cycle of violence. While the narrative introduction can be very effective, you might want to consider any of these attention-grabbing ideas. State an interesting fact or statistic related to your topic. Ask a rhetorical question. Reveal a common misconception about your topic. Share an anecdote, a humorous story perhaps, that captures your topic. But do not be limited to these ideas. They are good, they are proven ways to get started. To think about with an introduction, keep it short. Aim to have your introduction between 10 and 15% of the total time of your speech. A 3 to 5 minute speech means between 18 and 30 seconds for your introduction. Your conclusions also need to be quick. They need to clearly wrap up the main idea of the speech. Do not add any new facts. Your conclusion can be serious or it can be humorous, but there should be a clear link to the introduction. When audiences listen to a speech, they respond to more than just what you say. Liven up your speech by using visual and audio materials effectively. A prop is an object that can be used to imitate its real-life equivalent. Posters can give useful information, but they can be difficult to see if the audience sits far away, and so are not always very effective. PowerPoint presentations can also be used to share different kinds of images, photos, and graphs that add value to your speech. But if you do go the route of PowerPoint, please don't type out your entire speech and let everybody read it while you speak. You can also include sound. Music or sound effects can be played from your phone. You could even whistle a tune if it's relevant. I remember one very good speech that a learner presented for oral assessment one year. The topic was about crime in the area. She barged into the classroom wearing a bandana and face mask, waving a toy gun in the air, a prop, and from a cell phone she played the sound of police sirens, using audio, to imitate police chasing her. Her introduction was a lively narrative that she acted out, and we were all hooked. So, you've spent a considerable amount of time putting together a fantastic introduction, a memorable conclusion, and your body is made up of relevant facts to build up to a good argument. Now it is time to practice. Film yourself or stand in front of a mirror. Check if your body language works with your message. Keep an eye on your time. You can even ask a friend or a family member to watch you and give you feedback. There are a few things to think about when it comes to delivery. Body language. Show confidence. Stand up straight. Don't slouch or lean against the furniture. Make eye contact. It's easy when you select 2 or 3 members in the audience and you shift your focus during the speech. Movement can also be effective. Be selective about where and when you move. But many people do better to just stand still. Tone of voice is very important. Let your voice match your message. Serious? Humorous? Good speeches are often aided by the use of cue cards. They're essentially memory devices that help you recall what you need to say. Make sure that your cue cards are large enough to handle, but don't put everything on a single A4 page. The text should be large enough to read clearly. Use bullet points that are easy for you to follow. Only write information on one side of the card. And number your cards. Remember, you need to make your audience think. If you want to look at some good examples of speeches, I suggest checking out Toastmasters on YouTube to see top-level public speakers present topics in exciting ways. When you're done, leave your audience in awe.